Come on in, goddesses. Time to talk about the astrology. Come on in, let's talk.
Body, mind, spirit, circle of goddess power. All about women with the attire, being led by the great mother, here to discover our feminine.
I'm excited. We're going to talk about this week's astrology. Wild.
Remember who you are. Remember you are a star. Goddess herself is calling you home. Goddess herself is calling you home. Goddess herself is calling you home. Soulful goddess.
Hello, goddesses. How are you?
Welcome home, goddess.
Welcome home. Alrighty, how are you all? Yes, I am Tyra, aka Tyra, and I am your sister friend, a goddess guru, here to share all about the astrology for this week because I love sharing ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle to help women empower themselves. Sis, I'm trying to help you or support you in activating yourself, walking aware in your life, aligning with your destiny, all that kind of good stuff. And I want to start off by just saying something really quickly before we talk about the astrology. There's a book that I have read recently called Stolen Focus. And one of the things that I am clear about is how much we are controlled with these algorithms. Unbeknownst to us, it's been a slow build, maybe not so slow, but a slow build in a way for the algorithms of, all of social media to take over. And I'm just asking you to make a commitment. Number one, I want you to pay attention to how much you're influenced by, your social media activity. Here's another commitment. I want you to read this book, Stolen Focus, okay? But I want you to also be committed to saying, I don't need to wait for YouTube to recommend a channel. And I'm going to tell y'all why I'm saying this. I refuse. I'm not a YouTuber. I am on YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. And the algorithm does not work in my favor. And so I'm asking you to schedule it. Put something on your calendar. Let me go check and see what Tyra has put out today, or Tyra, if that's what you call me. Let me go see what old has put out today. Let's see what she's talking about today. And I want you to go out of your way to do that for me and other people who are here, not to play the algorithm game, but because we are here to share. And this is a really convenient way to get it out. Okay. Now, the other thing is, I think it's when you're in the app is when I see it the most. I don't know if I see it when I'm watching on my laptop, but you can hype videos. And so I'm asking y'all if y'all would, if you ever see that option to hype one of my videos, and you typically see that in replay, give a sister a hype, okay? Help hype a sister. Because yeah, I would love for my channel to reach more people. And I have just learned the channels that mean the most to me, I don't wait to get notifications, or you can go to that subscription button. That's how I find the people who I care about the most, because YouTube is feeding us all kinds of stuff, whether we are asking for it or not. It's not until we go to our subscription page that we can find out who's putting things out that we've actually subscribed to. This is a total game. And to be honest with you all, I know it sounds like I'm just working on my channel and getting people to make sure they remember that I'm here and that y'all watch. And it's really true. The more that y'all leave a comment, press that thumbs up button, it actually really does make a difference, because after all, this is a broadcasting system, period, for the most part. We could just see it that way. But I have been wanting to talk about this book, Stolen Focus, for a minute. And in a way, it might be a good segue into some of the astrology that we're having this week, because Uranus is going into Gemini on Saturday. And that's going to be for those of us here in Eastern, in the United States, on this side of the world. And so our focus is going to get stolen more with Uranus being there. Uranus has been in stable Taurus. Well, it's getting ready to go into super curious Gemini. Gemini is the most curious sign. It is always looking for a little bit here, a little bit there. Gemini is the sign of social media. And if we think social media has taken off since what, 2000, I'll say 2007, 2008 is when we started really getting into Facebook, we ain't seen nothing yet. We have not seen anything yet. And after I read that book, or as I was reading the book, it became so clear to me how much my consciousness was being controlled by the algorithm. And I don't know if y'all remember when I had Dr. Reliable Jewel come on talking about you better get in touch with your own inner algorithm, because these systems, this system of surveillance economy, Google and Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, all it's so many in so many different ways. These systems are designed to grab our attention, to find out what are we focused on. That's why the book is called Stolen Focus. What's she focused on, and how can I sell her something? Or, whoever the person is that's looking at it. How can I sell this person something? And so we really and truly need to go on ahead and begin to say, let me stand in my sovereignty as much as I can. Let me be very deliberate and mindful of what I'm choosing to look at. All right. And Gemini going into, um, excuse me, I don't know why I keep saying Gemini. Uranus going into Gemini this week is going to be one of our challenges for the next like 8 years or so. We will be hyper focused on what is my mind thinking about? Because Uranus is electricity, taking the mind here and there, to and fro. All right. And so, even the way I've begun this video, I have to fight inside of me like, this is not the way you start a YouTube video. YouTube doesn't reward people, it's constantly looking for what's going to be best for YouTube, what keeps people on here watching, and those kinds of things. But I just decided, let me just start off with, with my truth. And thank y'all for so much for listening. Let's jump into the astrology, because it's pretty wild this week, Queens. It is pretty doggone wild. So we're here on the 19th, on a day that I have mentioned is very important, because we have the two malefic planets meeting, Mars and Saturn. Malefic means that they bring some roughness, some harshness, some challenges. They can be downright just hard to deal with. They bring some of the greatest hurts and pains and wounds to a certain degree. And they're meeting in Aries. And so whenever two planets meet on the same degree, and they just so happen to be meeting on the 7th degree, one of the good parts about it is a new beginning. And so this is kicking off something new, because the other planet that's also right there is Mercury. So we actually have this super meeting of planets with Saturn, Mars, and Mercury all right there together. And so there's a new beginning. And one of the themes that we can look at, like, what is this new beginning about? I'm going to change the orientation here. What are the what is this new beginnings about? Well, Mars is something that you will take action on, something that you will focus on, something maybe that you're passionate about. And hold on one second. Okay. And also something that you might have to fight, really fight for, be brave, be courageous, is definitely this energy of I am taking action. And Mars is fiery. All right. What is Mercury? Well, Mercury is the mind. And so it could be something with ideas, communication, some new idea possibly coming to you. Maybe with Mars, you're going to act on this new idea, which Saturn will give you a plan. But Saturn wants you to be disciplined. And Mars and Saturn together, they are essentially opposites of each other. Mars is let's take action, let's go. It's a little bit of it's associated with Aries, and they're in Aries, which is a youngish type of energy. Whereas Saturn is the planet that rules Capricorn. Saturn is the elder. It's an old planet. It's cold. and it moves slow and it moves methodically. And so, in a way, bringing them together is like you get sustained energy to work on something over time. You can have that patience because Mars lacks patience. Saturn has patience beyond measure. And so it's like this sustained energy that you can take on some new idea. Mercury also has to do with communication of some sort, getting a message out, maybe writing if for people who write. So it could be something like that. Maybe you're writing a business plan. Maybe you're coming up with a new business plan. And Mercury is also a social planet. So it could be some new social connections because Mercury is connected with networking. And yeah, so maybe there was something else that was gonna come to me, but I just want y'all to kinda think about this is how we are looking at these planets and what they could be indicating. And so they're all meeting in Aries on the 7th degree. So that's double Aries energy. The degree tells me something. So that's where this is coming from. It's double Aries energy. So Aries has something to do with the body. So maybe whatever action that we're going to take, it has something to do with our body. It has to do with the identity. So maybe we're taking some new action on identity. Um, it is also innovative, and it's truly a new beginning, a fresh new start. I think a lot of us will be feeling that way. Like, Saturn is this get real planet. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend today and she had said something, and I said, you know what? I never saw this before now. It just came to me all of a sudden, this very sobering moment. Like, you know what? You're just not seeing things for how they really are, Tyra. You have been missing the totally the plot. You think everything is wrong, but no. See, Saturn is a restructuring. So these are the kinds of things that a lot of us may be feeling like I'm getting real about, like this new phase that I'm in, this new direction that I'm taking. Um Maybe with Mercury, it's like my thinking is changing. I'm thinking in a whole new way. And Saturn is like, you will not succeed because Saturn wants you to succeed without discipline. So you need to make sure you're being disciplined. Aries is also an energy that has to do with fighting, and it's the warrior energy. It's a battle. It's advocacy, and that energy is being raised up in all of us. We just had that new moon, and there were, I think, 6 planets in Aries on the day of the new moon. And so we will be taking this warriorous energy or warrior energy with us into this next year. And it's like, you know, we want things to be easy. Let me tell y'all, I'm about to go old school Tyra on you, but back to my roots in my childhood of being raised up in the church. And what do we say? I can't think of the book, but for everything, there's a season, a time, a reason, all of that kind of good stuff. For those of y'all who know scripture better than me, A, we have to always remember there's going to be a time for ease and flow. And then there's going to be a time where it's like, no, I just got to go. Baby, I got to put elbow grease in this thing. We should never be in one, two, like we should jump back in between the two. Everything shouldn't be hard. There should be some things that come to us that are easy. Okay. But it's Aries. And so this is our life right now. Aries says take some action, be brave, be courageous. And to a certain degree, it's a little bit of risk taking going on here, but it's calculated risk taking because Saturn is like, we're gonna think about what we're gonna do before we actually take this risk, Mars. We're not gonna be doing all that without thinking first. Okay. I know what I was gonna say. Mercury is also connected to lifestyle and like how are you living your day-to-day routines, how are you showing up in life. So some of it's like we're going to have a new cadence about us, just a new way of operating and moving and showing up in the world. And We'll have to take this action. If we're going to manifest, this is going to be you take action, you follow the plan, you stick to the plan. But it's something new that you're building, and it's something innovative, whole new world. Okay. The caveat is that it's all of these planets, including Mars. We have the two malefics in Aries. So the two malefic Mars and Saturn in Aries. This could be a really challenging time. Now, they've already been close to each other, and we have already seen a lot that has unfolded, in the last week or so. But I just say pray for your family, be that prayer warriors for your family, and cover them, check on people. If you think something is up, check on them. If they come across your mind, pick up the phone and call them and say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm just calling to see how you're doing." All right. And it's like that until the 21st of April, at the very least. Okay, so we have the sun going into Taurus on the 20th. And with the sun going into Taurus on the 20th, it begins to tone down this Aries energy some. And we'll have the sun, Venus, and Uranus in Taurus for just a short time, because Venus will be moving into Gemini on the 24th of April. So Venus has already been there bringing up the energy of Taurus. And so it's time for us to really think about money and abundance. And I plan on talking a little bit more about that in a different video. But this is a really good time, because it's like having the wind behind your back when we have planets in Taurus, or whatever sign it is. Like whatever the theme is, if you have planets there, then it's going to be serving you. So the wind is behind our back when we think about resources, when we think about personal finances and money. And so while we're in Taurus, you want to do your own, it's like going to get your oil change. Okay. You got to do your abundance oil and lube change. You have to do your money oil and lube change while we are in Taurus. And that takes being mindful. One of the things I teach in the goddess centered lifestyle is you must be aware. And that's what we're doing. We're taking stock. We're looking at how are we doing in our finances? Is there anything that needs to be freshened up? And as we do that, we begin to look at our self-worth and our self-value. How are we feeling about ourselves? Sometimes we'll know what we're thinking about our worth and value, because how are we treating ourselves? Are we taking care of ourselves, which is Taurus? Are we doing things for ourselves? And that's something else that Aries is about. Aries is about I'm focused on me. Okay. I'm focused on me. And we need to be like that at times. That's just how it is. We can't always have our attention out to everyone else. We really need to, have time set aside where it's like, okay, I'm just focused on what I'm doing, what I want, what I think is best. And all of this points to self-worth, self-value, personal finances. Okay. So that's something I want y'all to be thinking about with this Taurus energy. Get outside too. Taurus is about nature. So make sure you're getting outside. And then before Venus moves out of Taurus, she is going to meet with Uranus. This is going to be on the 24th. So we'll just say the 23rd, 24th. Venus will be interacting with Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. And so as this happens, something unexpected could happen. Now, Venus is what we consider to be a benefic planet. So we've talked about the malefics. What about the benefic? Well, Venus is benefic, and she typically is going to bring you a blessing. Okay. And so when she goes across Uranus is about something unexpected. So it could be something unexpected with money or some form of abundance or resources, because that's where they are. It could be an unexpected relationship, because Venus has to do with relationships. So something with relationships. Now, Uranus wants you to get a breakthrough, and it's on what we call a karmic degree. So this may be a week where you get a breakthrough. And so I want you to be open to that. The only caveat that I have is right now is such a weird and bizarre time. Something negative could happen with this. Venus is benefic, but Uranus is on the 29th degree, and it is not coming back to Taurus. So it's like trying to finish everything up. But the one thing that I can always assure you is that everything is always working in your favor. Astrology is here to support you. And sometimes we have to have some harsh breakthrough. Maybe you're going to get a breakthrough in how you feel about yourself. Maybe you're going to get a financial breakthrough of some sort, but it may come in a way where it's a little bit jarring to the system. Okay. Or Uranus is like this awakening happens, and so maybe you awaken and it's like, I don't like what's here, but I hadn't been paying attention to it. So now Uranus has awakened you to see something that is like, no, I don't like this. Could be with relationships, could be with money. So definitely keep that top of mind. So also what's happening at this time is Venus is going to go into Gemini, and then Uranus is going to go into Gemini. I know on here it says on the 26th, but that's over in Europe, because the person who made this calendar, Lotta, she's in Europe. But for us here on this side of the globe, it's going to be on the 25th. So Uranus is going to go into Gemini. This last part of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be intense, because we also have the sun interacting with Pluto in a way that's called the square. And so whenever a planet is squaring, it's actually asking you to take some sort of action, but you may be pushed to do this. And both of these are highly energetic planets. And so, Pluto is about change and transformation, and it has to do with your personal power, and it destroys things. And the sun is always wanting to get you to like open up and beam and take energy, I mean take action. It wants to give you energy in some way. It wants you to shine, and it has this natural genius. And so right now the sun is in Taurus, and maybe it's one of the themes that I talked about with Taurus: money and resources, abundance, self-worth, self-value, your values. Um Now, it also has to do with your personal possessions. And so as it interacts with Pluto, Pluto could be saying, "Hey, you need a breakthrough, but you need to be looking at these themes that Taurus represents." And the sun is trying to, shine a light on it and get you to make some type of transformation around it. Okay. And one of the things I was thinking is, maybe some people are just going to be like, you know what? The stuff that I have, I don't want it anymore. I'm getting rid of it. No more stuff. I'm done. Um, and maybe you take it and you give it away to people who need it. You don't, it's that whatever you're giving away, you're going to go buy something new. And so you just find somebody and help them out, because your Pluto is in Aquarius, which is the collective. And it's like we help one another in Aquarius. Okay. Um, but also it may be something about around your personal power and standing in your truth. Maybe somebody is like, I want you to be one way. And you're like, no, I'm not going to be the way you want me to be. I'm going to be the way I choose to be. And you're like, I'm standing in my sovereignty. Or maybe it's like you aren't using your gifts and talents. And, Pluto is like, I'm going to burn off whatever's blocking you from using your gifts and talents. And you kind of feel pushed out there. Okay. But this is, to a certain degree, it's something we might see on the collective level. I mean, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. World leaders we could see around the 24th, 25th, 26th really having a really hard time. So we have all of that. And then Pluto's in Aquarius, which brings things that are unexpected. Uranus's energy is like really big and frenetic because it's trying to jump from Taurus over into Gemini. And so there's a lot of strong frenetic energy there. Um, and so it just could be really wild at the end of this week. So I say overall, this week is pretty intense. Um, maybe the 22nd and the 23rd, maybe they're a little bit easier because we don't have anything happening on those days. So over definitely a week to get grounded. This is a week where there's something new happening, y'all. It's just how it is. And I just want you to accept something is changing. You may not know the fullness of what it is, but something is changing. And you're feeling it, you're sensing it, or you're just downright right seeing it. And also there's some action that you need to take. And it's like you really need to stand in your power and be true to who and what you are. So the card that I've pulled from the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck is the Intention card. The Intention card. I really love this card because this is what I want you to do. I want you to set intentions for this week. If you haven't set intentions, I encourage you to do it week by week, day by day. And I know it sounds like a lot. If you could just do it week by week, set intentions for your month. Okay. What is it that you want to work on for this month? It doesn't have to be big. Maybe you just want to finish knitting whatever, that project is that you're working on. I don't care. I'm not asking anybody out there to we're not doing the hustle culture here, okay? Now if you want to hustle, hey, I get it. I'm a hustler. What can I say? But that's not what I'm here to promote. Some of us are just like, no, I just want to finish this creative project that I've been working on. And I think that is of the highest magnitude of intentions. I really do. As a creative, a fellow creative, finishing a creative endeavor in this world is like, it's very novel. It's very novel. But maybe you're working on something with your health and well-being, or you're working on putting together something for your business. It's something at work, a project that you're working on with your family or with some friends. It doesn't matter. I want everybody to take a deep breath. I want you just to know that whatever it is that's important to you is enough. Okay? Just be happy, be good with yourself. We're always going to evolve and grow, and we'll feel that impulse, but it doesn't make us worthy to always be out here hustling and doing this and doing that and achieving this and achieving that. That some people are born like that, and that's just how they are. But it's okay if that's not who you are. It's okay if every day you wake up and you're like, I woke up, I did my spiritual practices, I worked out, I did my self-care, I went to work, I came home and, I knitted or I colored. I went and spent time at the park with my grandchildren or with my children. That's good enough. I read a book. In this day and age, reading, I don't know, where's the book? Reading an actual book is novel. It's very novel. So if you come home and you read a book, hey, okay. But I do want you to set your intentions, okay? I know people don't like structure. It has gotten a very bad reputation, but it's just part of reality. Like, if we did not have structure, we would not have the space-time continuum, okay? It would not exist. The whole point of this space-time continuum is to give structure to things. to make things manifest. No Saturn, no space-time continuum. Okay? So we need to, have some type of boundaries within which we're operating. And so even if all you do is set weekly goals, that's fine. If you have a lot on your plate, set daily goals at night before you go to bed. Write out in your journal, in a notebook, whatever works for you, what it is that you need to do the next day. If you get in bed and you hadn't written down, pull out the phone, open up your notes app, type it in. Okay? And then the next day, you've already had your intentions set. Now, I do like setting intentions around what is it that I need to do, but I want you to also set intentions around who am I going to be today? Every morning I wake up, I have these prayers that I say when I'm laying in bed before I get out of bed. I touch my head and connect to my Ori, and then I touch my feet to the ground to connect with my destiny and my mission for the day. And then I say, okay, well, who am I going to be today? And I'll say, okay, today I am relaxed productivity, or today I'm having fun. I'm going to do something fun. Today I am a warrioress and I am working out. I'm getting my workouts done, right? Whatever it is that you want. It could be the same thing every day if you wish, but you want to make a declaration around who you intend to be for that day. How do you intend to show up? And it is really, really helpful. Okay, last little bit. I pulled 2 cards from the Pathways Oracle. The Pathways out card is chaos and drama. And so this is all about pathways into and out of the soul. And so for chaos and drama, it's all about, are you addicted to drama? Are you addicted to chaos? And it's so interesting because I've been pulling this card from me in another deck. And I was like, what chaos and drama am I addicted to? And then I was like, oh, I'm addicted to chaos and drama on the inside of me. I am very chaotic and dramaful. I have all kinds of crazy discussions in my head. Wow. So, you have to kind of think about, where are you addicted to chaos and drama? Where do you know you're plugged into chaos and drama? Um, let's see here. I don't want to read this whole thing. Mm-mm. Okay, so it says, so this also says, I think this is interesting. The most important tool to use when it comes to chaos and drama is to move into the observer role. Here, you will listen, nod, and say, I hear you. But you will not jump into the fray. Just don't. Just once, don't do it. It will change your life. You will then find yourself more and more able to focus on your own life. And you want to ask yourself this question: what would now be different there? Where would you like to go? What new experience would you like to enjoy? And check this out. It says this is the time to access boundaries. That's that Saturnian energy that we can never get away from, it seems like, here lately. Life will never move beyond chaos and drama until you step back from that dynamic, observe the situation, and evaluate your part in the continual games. Okay, so there we go. And there could absolutely be chaos and drama this week. Woo! With all this Aries energy. Okay, next for the pathway into is balance and harmony. And I pulled these cards separately. I didn't go look for the balance and harmony card. So I just think that's interesting. And right off the cuff, I will say to you, you want to look to see what is it that you can do that brings balance and brings harmony, and divesting from chaos. Absolutely. saying, let me just stand here and before I jump in, let me just observe. And like maybe I don't even need to be a part of this. And again, check the chaos and drama on the inside of you, if that's the case. Okay. So yes, we are wanting to seek more balance and more harmony. And it says sometimes you may feel powerless to change, but hey, you can do it. Let's face it, staying out of balance and harmony has somehow served you. Ouch. You likely inherited this way of life, but by staying in in a reactive blame game, you never really have a chance to take charge of your own reality. But you can begin to disengage almost moment by moment from the complex bondage of entrapment you have achieved for yourself. No one else has the kind of power over you. Only you can do this. You can retrieve yourself from the negative dances you've chosen to join. Instead, dance into a new life. Okay. Everyone has the ability to live in balance and harmony. The trick is in believing in you, believing that you deserve the ease of this dynamic. That's where the passion comes in. What is needed is a systematic disengaging from the belief that just because there are many diverse dynamics which make up day-to-day living, you're unable to discern how you want to frame your own life. But guess what? It's your choice. Always. Love that. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to tell you about the goddesses that go with this card. The first one is who I've never paid attention to. I'm sure I've seen her, but I didn't pay attention to her. Juturna, who is a Roman goddess, and she has to do with balance. And she assists in keeping both fires and floods from damaging our lands or homes. We may call upon her to help us with our own emotional fires or floods that may get out of hand when life seems to be beyond control. There's also Tula, who is from Hindu tradition. She has to do with peace. This goddess, whose name means balance, teaches us how to harmonize the diverse nature of our hectic lives and reintegrate a goddess centered philosophy in our everyday life. How have I not heard of Tula? That's my girl. Okay. Last is Themis, which is a Greek goddess. She stands for justice. This goddess personifies the spirit and actions of reason. She observes the behaviors of moral choices and is available as an understanding ear in difficult decisions, and also offers balanced perspectives. And for me, I always lean into the African goddesses, which is Oshun. Oshun is absolutely the goddess that has to do with balance and harmony. And, it's like this energy of what is it that you can do to bring yourself center? And Oshun is all about being more flexible. I can assure you, where there's a lack of balance, there's probably a lack of flexibility. And Oshun is about easing the way. But the number one thing, too, that I love about Oshun is she's about tapping into creativity. And this is a highly creative time, actually. So I want you to really lean into creativity, even if it's not your own creative um, style. Maybe you lean into somebody else's creativity. Maybe you go look at somebody's art. Maybe you listen to their music, watch, some creative movie or TV show, but lean into creativity. That's what Oshun would also say. That's what I have for you all this week. Thank you all so much for being here. Also, today is Sunday. I'm going to post this today. So if you see this after Sunday, then this is no longer a thing. But I do have my sacred mini reading available at a discount to help you understand the waters that we're in right now, but specifically for you in your chart. Um, I'll say for spring, for the most part, I'll just be looking at spring. So April, May, a little bit of June, I'll be looking at for you. And it's all about having that roadmap. why be out here blindly living life when you can tap into your spiritual blueprint, your chart. And yeah, I would love to do that for you all. So thank you all so much for being here. I wish y'all a beautiful, amazing week. Let me take this down. And yeah, let's see here. What are we gonna go out of? On, you know what? This is spicy. We're gonna go out on a little bit of spice. Okay. Let's do this. Take care, goddesses. I want y'all to have a great week. Have a great week, goddesses. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hit the like button. Please help a sister out with making my channel strong. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Have a good week, y'all. Those intentions. You got this, goddess. I know you do. I'm cheering for you.